So hey guys, it's a very beautiful sunny day finally, because I'm tired of lying down in the mud when the rain's coming down, and I'm working underneath the truck to do a minor thing on the transmission. What I'm talking about right now is the shifter shaft seal that you can definitely change while the transmission is in the truck. And you could theoretically also change it with the shaft still installed. But I'm thinking maybe that's not the best idea, because there's some rust on the outside of it, so it might damage the seal, Also, the transmission was extremely dirty, so what I'm trying to do is just clean out that bore where the seal and the shaft and everything goes, and then install all clean parts. But in order to do that, I have to disassemble the shifter mechanism inside the transmission, and that's where I got stuck last night. But last night it was raining and it was getting dark, so it didn't go too far. So guys, ideally I would have shared everything with you, but yesterday I was kind of just in a hurry to get something done. So this is the part that screws in from the bottom. There's a part that selects the gears. It looks like a rooster. It's got some cutouts where this is gliding on there, and it's making a spring tension to hold this in its position when you select the gear. I already took out the piece that goes on the shifter shaft. I might have to put this back just to have something to hold it while I try to undo the nut on the inside. Yeah, there's a nut on the inside. It's actually between the rooster piece and the casing of the transmission, so this has to be unscrewed before the shaft can be pulled out. And then there's a nail that holds it inside the transmission casing. Kind of weird why they use the nail, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna unscrew the pan, put it aside, and then we're gonna go under there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yesterday I already changed the O-ring here. This is the kick down switch. It was leaking through there as well. I don't even know 100% if this shaft is leaking, but because there was a lot of dirt in there and I have the pan off right now, it just makes sense to change it. I already bought it. It's only $10. And I want to say a word before we go any further here. If you have a gravel driveway and you're working on your transmission without having a proper lift or anything like that, it's really not recommended to do the work this way, because you don't want any dirt in your transmission. And see what I done here. I have these plastic sheets that I put underneath, but it's really just a makeshift last resort kind of setup here. See, the spring with the roller screws right in there. One of these two. As soon as I move this, there's going to be oil coming out. See? So that's not ideal, I'm like under there basically with my face. So I have to try and keep myself protected from this without blocking my view by some glasses and whatnot. When you look inside there, you'll probably see this nut. I think it's a 9/16 wrench that I need that's on the shaft. And the nail is right about there. So I have to pull this out with long nose pliers. First I want to loosen the nut behind there. My next step is see if I can undo this by holding this. Yeah, this makes me hold the shifter shaft in its position so I can unscrew this nut. So I got this nut very loose now, and now I'm going to pull out the nail and then the shaft. I should be able to get it out of there, no problem. And the nail goes quite far there, and it needs to be bent. Yeah, that is the one I'm talking about right there. It's coming out. But there you go. See, this is what it looks like. So this is what's holding the shifter shaft inside the casing. Shaft should come right out. And if it's not, I should file it, because I don't want to gouge the aluminum housing. And see this nut right there where my wrench is? I have to unscrew it to get this shaft out. And then I have to hold the nut with my hand, or my fingers, so that it doesn't just fall somewhere. So yes, indeed, the nut came right off. See, it's a lock nut of a sort. It's got these slots in there, which I think it's kind of like spring-loaded or something, I believe. No, it's not coming off yet. So there's some burrs on here that I'll have to get rid of in order to get that through the housing without scratching it. So I'll get a tiny little file and just work away at it until it comes right out. It's supposed to slide right out of here. See, it moves nicely now, it moves freely, so I can do this. So here's what I have. It's just a, I think they call that a keyhole file. Really small one. I got a whole set. They're worth gold for all kinds of things. I'm not sure what you can see because it's really hard to do this all at the same time, but by filming this I'm actually talking myself through this. There, that's the shaft. Got it. See, this is the seal right inside there. You cannot knock it out from the inside of the housing, so it has to come out like this. Pry it out. But see how thin the housing is right here. So that's a little bit worrisome. I have to probably think about that for a while and see if there's a way to get that out without gouging anything. So guys, I got it out and unfortunately you missed it. The way it came out was just by putting it this way and then just carefully applying pressure, and it came right out. So now I'm going to wipe this a little bit inside there and then put a brand new seal in. This is a 13mm socket. It should be just about perfect to knock this in. And of course my construction hammer. I gotta try and get this in nice and square. It feels like it's in. It's hard to see if it's in evenly. What does that look like, guys? Does that look okay? And finally, to be absolutely sure, I'm using my phone light and a mirror to inspect this from all sides. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't want any surprises once this is all put back together. So I'm back under here with the shaft. I cleaned it up with 600 grit sandpaper. It was not very bad to begin with, but as I'm pushing it through the seal, I want it to be really, really smooth. So I got the Vaseline for lubricant, and I got my lock nut, and that weird ass nail. Okay, so here you're looking at the shifter shaft is back in its hole. I pushed it in through the seal after lubricating it well. The lock nut is right there and everything is in place, but it needs to be tightened now. So I'm going to put the linkage adapter on there so that I can hold it from this side. Okay, the nut is nice and tight. Now it's time to put that nail back in its place. I'm kind of hoping I can feel my way there. So I can't see. Oh, there we go. This is where it goes. This is good. I gotta wiggle the shaft to make this go in. So guys, the nail is in there now. It was a little bit tricky to get it because I had to straighten it toward the end, and then the other end I had to bend it a little bit more. And then just apply some force and wiggle the shaft at the same time, and it's in. I don't think I need to explain to you that I'm glad we've come this far, because yeah, it's not the most comfortable position to work. I hope you saw some of this. So I think I got it all back together just before the pan can go back on. Of course, the filter still needs to go on there, right there where that tube is. So I'm glad. almost done here. Another thing I'm dealing with is this plug, because I don't trust the O-ring that came with it. I'm replacing it with a rubber washer and a regular washer on top of it. There's a little groove in there that's meant for the O-ring, but with the O-ring in there I can't tighten it all the way because it'll smash the O-ring. With these washers it should work a little better, but I'm going to put a tiny bit of Loctite on that bolt just to make sure this doesn't come loose on its own. So I'm putting back the same pan gasket. It's rubber. It should still be good. It's very seldom the pan gasket that's leaking. It's usually above that. So guys, I installed the filter without you, thinking that this is the most simple, basic thing in the world, but I gotta point out something that happened. When you look at this seal, the seal that goes around that yellow tube at the bottom where it goes into the filter, well, the only way I was able to get that in properly was by putting the seal onto the tube first. The reason is because it's tapered, so the filter will go right in it, but if the seal is in the filter, it won't. It's in there, so that's important. To make sure the gasket goes on there nice and straight, I just put the bolts in there beforehand. I'm going to try to do all of them like that because I know it's all going to be lined up perfectly. I put the bolts through the gasket, and then one by one I just kind of get them into the threads, start snugging them up, and then the second round I just go around until it makes contact all the way around without really tightening it. And then I'll start tightening it, but I'll go in a pattern. I'll go in a spiral pattern so that it makes sure that the pan will get distorted in something and everything is evenly tightened. And at the very end I'll go all the way around just to make sure I didn't miss any bolts. So guys, well, I'm gonna end this video here, but I gotta tell you, the pan is on, it's torqued. My pan gasket shouldn't leak at all. The whole transmission hopefully won't leak anymore. There might still be some other seals on the other side, but thing is, those ones I can easily get to without having to pull the pan again. So yeah, and I didn't see anything on that side really when I checked it. Mind you, this can be deceiving. The next video will have how good does it drive with all of this, and this truck, it's soon gonna be ready to go. Mind you, there's still minor things, but I'll see you in the next video and we'll talk about it.